You. What's up, everybody? Rich Cage 20 here. It's fucking hot. I don't miss the summer, I'm gonna tell you that. I don't fucking miss it. I'm sweating like crazy, but that's not gonna stop us from enjoying some music today. What do we got today? We got some Linkin Park. We got Waiting for the End. Now I gotta give a little bit of story, a little bit of background story about my experience with Linkin Park. Now, I have not listened to anything from Linkin Park since 2007. Was that when the album came out? Since Minutes to Midnight came out. Now, I was there in high school when that album dropped. I remember it coming out being so excited because Hybrid Theory, fucking genius level work right there. Almost every single song, fucking masterpiece, amazing. I don't know how the fuck you pronounce it. I always just call it Medora or something like that. Or is it Meteora, whatever how the fuck you pronounce that. I don't think I've ever learned how to pronounce the title. That album, fucking amazing. Like almost every song, fucking great. And I remember being like so stoked. And then my girlfriend at the time had the album. She's like, "Yeah, you can borrow it and listen to it." And I was listening to it. And I was listening to all of it. I was like, Linkin Park's fallen off, haven't they? Like it wasn't good in my opinion. However, this was also around the same period where Fallen was that one. The Open Door, not the Fallen Door. Open Door by Evanescence came out, and I was just like, it's not as good. But then listening to it later, I was just like, what the fuck was I thinking? These songs are great. So it's a high possibility that there was some good tracks in that third album. We don't count Reanimate because no one counts that. I haven't actually listened to anything. I just hear that you forget that one exists. It's kind of like the Zelda CDI. You just don't talk about it. But I don't know. I've never listened to it myself. I probably should do such. So maybe it was really good. I remember Giving Up, fucking outstanding. Bleed It Out, top notch. What I've done probably would have been a little bit better if it wasn't like the theme song for Transformers, but like, still okay. Still not bad. Still good. All the other ones did not care for it because I remember listening to the album being like, yo, like one of their strongest fucking powerhouses was jumping back and forth between Chester Bennington and Mike Shinoda. They would play off of each other. Mike would get his rap on, Chester would get his sing on. Their energy off of each other was the shit. They had like almost none of that in that album, from what I remember. Then again, I could be wrong. So I was just like, what the fuck? Linkin Park's falling off. But I want to give Linkin Park another chance. As I've mentioned at the end of some albums, I had 2 Linkin Park songs I want to listen to before I decided to maybe jump on an album or not. And today we have one of those. Waiting for the End is what we got. Now, of course, knowing what ended up happening with Chester, which, by the way, important information about that. I was looking up when Chester passed and when I was looking at these videos and whatnot. And it said, like, I was seeing how many years ago it was because I was looking at the last album. And I was like, some of the titles in this song, like, was he on the last album? And I was like, 2017 when he passed and whatnot, got it. It was like, his wife, or a widow wife now. It's not funny. I don't know why. I had nervous tick laugh. Don't mind me. Said that speaking out about 5 years later after the was like 5 years after what happened, and I looked at like when it was posted. It was like an hour or two ago, and I was like, wait, it said July. I looked at it. Today is actually the 5th anniversary of Chester Bennington's passing. It was like it was meant to happen. I honestly did not know that, and I was just like, this means even more now. So the time this comes out will not be, but just know that this is being recorded literally in the 5-year anniversary of Chester's pass, and that's pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie. I think that's pretty cool. Now, again, as I was saying before we went off on that tangent, I don't know if it's like one of those things, like if this was actually what he was writing about, or if it's just because, we know now what happened and we know that he was struggling, go through some demons. So the title, Waiting for the End, was he talking about himself? Like, some of these might hit harder knowing what ended up happening. So, I don't know. All I know is I'm here to give Linkin Park another shot. It looks like there's a back and forth between Mike and Chester. That's what it's all about right there. That's what I like to hear. So let's get some of that. I believe I'm on the right one, but I always like to make sure. I don't like to crash my computer. I don't want to have to do this twice. Yeah, if I'm glistening more than my usual radiant beauty, I apologize. It's fucking hot. So, Waiting for the End, official music video, Linkin Park, let's go.
Like a riot rocket every revision, but you listen to the tone and the violent rhythm, and know the words sound steady, some empties within them. We say yeah, with fists flying up in the air, like we're holding on to something that's invisible there, cause we're living at the mercy of the pain and the fear, until we get it, forget it, let it all disappear. Yeah. Waiting for the end to come, wishing I had strength to stand. This is not what I had planned. It's out of my control. Flying at the speed of light, thoughts were spinning in my head. So many things were left unsaid. It's hard to let you starting again.
By the way, this little thumbnail here before we end the Happy Endings Mike Shinoda video and whatnot. I've seen that like 3 or 4 times. I've seen that video like 3 or 4 times. I haven't heard a note. I think, pretty sure. Maybe I have. I just wasn't paying attention. But I haven't really heard the song itself. It's been on a few times at Planet Fitness when I've been working out. They like to play it. Occasionally they like to play that song. It looks pretty cool. I might check it out someday. Let me just finish what I was doing here. I just saw that out of the corner of my eye and I had to say something about it before the screen went away. Okay. There was some interesting things going on in that song. For sure. Like I have praise and I have problems. Let's put it that way. I have praise and I have problems. There was such an interesting combination of genres of music in here, especially two main ones that were really catching my attention. That I was going back and forth between, which was really cool. The rapping was really good. The rapping slash singing from Mike was really good. Chester's voice was very angelic. It was very beautiful and well done. I didn't even love the parts where they were like sharing it together, and then one part where they were both doing their own lines over top of each other. It was really clever. It was it was a really good way to write that. Sounded great. You're waiting for the butt though. You are waiting for that butt though, aren't you? When will you ever learn? I'm just fucking with you. But it didn't sound like Linkin Park. And again, you know, obviously this is many albums later from the first two, so obviously, you know, going in different directions is what happens with bands and whatnot. But it's just like listen to it, it's just like this doesn't sound like it's a Linkin Park song. It sounds like, honestly, what I was getting is like kind of like a Disney or Broadway song. Like with a Jamaican reggae fusion in there. Didn't say it sounded like something that would be in like an opening or in the middle of like an emotional moment in a Broadway song. It didn't sound like it was Linkin Park. But it was beautiful. It was absolutely gorgeous. But I mean, you know, that was not bad. Really well done. Well written. Sounds good. Just I don't know. I don't want to typecast, you know, Linkin Park, but like there's that Linkin Park taste, and I like getting it. I ain't gonna lie, I like getting it. But I mean, how many songs can you make of that kind of stuff? It's just like two and a half albums. But I don't know. I'll probably have to go back through Minutes to Midnight and, you know, go through that album. Just give a redemption arc. Someday we'll find out what happens with that. But for now, we got a song to get back through here. So let's get into it. I just got a few notes here. The beginning, that's right. The beginning here is really giving me, I think it's Points of Authority. I think is what it's called. The not the album version though. The music video version. I think I generally prefer the album version a little bit more, though the music video version is badass. I ain't gonna hold you there. It's badass, especially the video itself is really fucking badass. But it was giving me that kind of point of authority kind of feel to it. That was really cool. And then immediately when Mike's doing his rapping slash singing, kind of a blend between the two. It really felt like it had this kind of reggae Jamaican like sound and feel to it, which is really fucking cool. So let's listen to those. Listen for those two things here in the beginning. That sound right there. Yeah, point of authority. That's what brought that to mind immediately. Yeah. Okay, that's why. That's right. It's got a good beat to it, man. It's got a good beat to it.
This is not the end, this is not the beginning. Just a voice like a riot rocket, every revision. But you listen to the tone and the violent rhythm, and know the words sound steady, some empty within them. We say yeah, with fists flying up in the air, like we're holding.
It's got a good flow to it.
That's invisible land.
Yeah.
We're living at the mercy of the pain and the fear until we get it, forget it, let it all disappear. Yeah. Waiting for the end.
It's a good drop down, like a lot of the instruments and music cuts out, just brings it very simplistically down to the start of Chester's lines. They're very, very cool. And right here, since we're already here, I wrote Disney/Yellow Card, the band. I don't know if you've heard them, but kind of there's parts in here that kind of remind me of some Yellow Card songs. But I did like the kind of smooth transition to this kind of softer part after that kind of nice fast-paced rap. That was pretty clean. But yeah, it made me, again, anything else that wasn't Linkin Park. It made me think of anything else that wasn't Linkin Park. But yeah, like, do you feel the Disney Broadway kind of taste in here as well? I'll hear for what made me think Yellow Card, but like, do you hear it too? Because like, I'm really hearing it. It might just be me. Like one of the newer ones, like the one I'm thinking of is I don't remember what the creature's name was. Or what the name of the thing, or what it was. I think it was a monkey. That's right. It's a monkey living with the old dude. There's a little bit of a spoiler alert, but it's like it happens in the first like 5-10 minutes of the movie, which I saw coming. I was like, oh, that old bitch is dead. Like, this is me, like, that old dude's fucking dead. Like, I already know where this movie's going. But the monkey and the old dude, and they play music on the street and shit. And then like his old fling was gonna do a farewell concert, will not want him to get up on it, and they were gonna go, and the monkey's like, nah, not gonna happen. And throws a fit, and then the old man dies over in the sleep overnight. He's fucking sad, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go in honor of the old man." And this little girl tries to help him get there and whatnot. Kind of sound like something that'd be like one of those kind of movies, like Coco, or one of those newer kind of ones. Yeah, it kind of really sounds like it'd be like a sad moment song in one of those Disney movies, or. At the end, it sounds very much like, but when they both, we'll get to there, but at the end, it sounds more Broadway-ish. But you hear that, right? Is it just me? Am I crazy? What's the name of that movie? I don't want to look it up. It was a good movie, though. I really liked it.
Strength to stand. This is not what I had planned.
It's beautiful, though. It's beautiful singing in
It's
here.
out of my control.
I like that. No, that nice little slide down to that note. That's beautiful. That's really beautiful.
Flying at the speed of light. Thoughts were spinning in my head.
Yeah, it's kind of this little passage. That kind of gave me this really kind of Yellow Card, Hoobastanky kind of feel to it. I don't know. Hoobastanky. That would be a great revision of the name. Instead of Hoobastanky. I don't know why that makes me laugh. Anyways, 155. Go around 149. I was going to say 150, but we hit 149 and we just got to stick with it because that's just how it works. Okay, so what we got here? Yeah, this is I think the part where they both started singing at the same time. Man, I couldn't really tell at first, but the video kind of helped clue me into that with both their faces singing. But then when I started listening to it, I could hear Mike on there as well. I thought that was a really cool effect. Beautiful high note, that jump up there and just kind of like fall down off of it. That is a beautiful note there, I ain't gonna lie. Smooth, very smooth. Good harmonies going on.
This was never meant to last. I wish it wasn't so.
Nice little do drop there at the bottom part. I think that's Mike holding that out. Very gorgeous right there. Very good harmonies. Very beautiful harmonization in there. Around, I think this, I think I already called this out, but we'll listen to it again. I think as kind of some more of his, more kind of, not necessarily a little bit embellishment, but just kind of more of the vocalizations and what he's doing, the way he's playing with the intervals and the way the notes are falling off or moving up and whatnot. I think there's a little bit more of that, but the way he said "gone," which I believe I heard him say kind of similar before. Maybe he switched up a little bit. Maybe that's why I caught my attention this time. But I know he did something like this last time he said it as well. This is just the time I caught it. I wrote it down. But there's some really cool note stuff happening here. I don't know where we are in the lyrics though. Was it "gone" or "got"? I don't fucking know. Maybe it was "got," because I don't see him. Yeah, I think it's "got." I don't know why I thought "gone." Anyways.
Holding on to what I haven't got.
Yeah, kind of same thing. Yeah, it's exactly what I said. When he kind of jumps out of that note, da da, just very, very nice interval jump there. Fall back down. Very gorgeous, very well sung. A lot of strength in that voice when he just pushes up for it. Very cool. Also, at the same time, it's a really nice bring back down into Mike's kind of rap singing here. It creates this really beautiful fall off into the rapping, which is very, very nice. Nicely done here. We're gonna let him keep going here, but something was about to come up here soon. So, what the? Oh yeah. Around 3:10 after Mike's line is done, with all the, well, at least the lyric says it's a bunch of O's, a bunch of neutral syllables when he's singing here. First the guitar starts doing it, and then the voice starts imitating the guitar, I think, with the guitar. That was a really nice touch, and that was really fucking cool.
Figure out what it's like moving on, and I don't even know what kind of things I said. My mouth kept moving and my mind went dead. So picking up the pieces now, where to begin? The hardest part of ending is starting again.
That part there, you get, like, you hear a little bit that kind of heavily affected guitar, but that's pretty standard with Linkin Park. I don't think you often hear like kind of clean guitar sounds or even just distorted guitar sounds. I feel like they have very heavy effects on all their instruments and whatnot, which is really cool. It's a really unique spin flavor on it. But the guitar, you can clearly hear, I think, the Chester imitating the guitar sounds as well, which sounds really cool.
Starting again.
And then he picks that note, nah, that he was owing along with the guitar, and then brings that back into that "all I want to do." I think it's the same note, which is also, again, very clever writing there, to have it the same note as the start of the chorus, and then use that note to push back into chorus because it's the same note. That's clever. That's very clever writing right there. And then the last thing we have here, and we'll just kind of let the song roll out, is kind of both of them singing, both Mike's rap singing and Chester singing the chorus at the same time, kind of overlapping each other, which gave me a huge Broadway feel, and maybe we'll pause it when it gets to that moment, so we'll see what happens.
All I wanna do is trade this life for something new. Holding on
Yeah. It's just like I can like see this in like a Disney movie, like the main character like walking through a town or a city or like a hillside or something, just like arms out and like birds flying and stuff, and just belting. It's like an hour as like all the music's going, and I can also see that in like a Broadway musical and stuff, and like a huge point in the middle of the play and whatnot. Like it's just it's fucking cool. Like there's a reason why that stuff sounds so good and so popular. It's just because it's really awesome musically. This is really beautiful shit right here. It's just like if I honestly couldn't see Mike and Chester on my screen right now, and you just play this for me out of nowhere, I might be like, oh, that kind of sounds similar to Linkin Park. That's interesting. I would not guess Linkin Park. Is all I'm saying. Is all I'm saying is like I would not guess Linkin Park, which is cool because it shows the versatility of these musicians and whatnot. It's just like I'm looking for a Linkin Park song, and I'm not getting a Linkin Park song. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying is whatever. Yeah. That's a beautiful long held note there. He's belting that shit out. It's fantastic singer. Both of them are fantastic musicians. Cannot deny that, cannot take that away from them. That was good. That was pretty good. That was good. I liked it. Musically, that was amazing. Coming in thinking like, oh, I want to listen to a Linkin Park song. That was good. That was definitely good. Hoping the next one maybe gives me a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. But you know, it is what it is. I enjoyed it all the same, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. And I will see you all next time. There it is. That's what's it. Next time.